Hey guys, welcome back. I wasn't planning on doing another video tomorrow, but I had some more free time today, so let's just get straight into it. Friday the 13th Part 2. This film was released in 1981, literally 1 year after the first film was released. This time was directed by, I believe, a producer on the first film, Steve Miner, and now written by Ron Kurtz. Friday the 13th Part 2 reveals that Jason didn't die in the lake all those years ago. We'll get into that. And he's now, and after avenging the death of his mother by killing Alice, the survivor at the end of the first film, he now hunts down a bunch of counselors at another summer camp that's nearby Crystal Lake. That's pretty much the plot in a nutshell. I always remember as a kid, I would have much more fun watching this one than the first film. At least that's what I remember. And after you're watching it again, my thoughts really hasn't changed. I actually really like this film at least a lot more than the first one. I actually have a lot more nice things to say about this one than the first film. So let's just get the negatives out of the way right now. Biggest problem the film has, at least for me, is this is just my opinion, but I don't like the explanation as to how Jason is back, or how Jason is alive in this. The movie says that Jason didn't drown in the lake all those years ago. Instead, he, I guess, survived and just got out of the lake and lived in the woods all his life. This explanation makes no sense to me. This movie states that they found no body. You mean, if that's the case, the police would have done like a whole search of the woods, wouldn't they? I mean, they would at least have checked to see if maybe Jason survived, right? 2. How the hell did this kid survive in the woods for 20 years or more? How did he survive all that time? Did he just feed off of animals or something? The movie never explains. I don't know. The explanation they've always given, I have never liked, to be perfectly honest. I actually much rather prefer James Rolfe's theory as to how Jason is back. That ending at the end of the first film where Alice is on the lake and Jason comes out of the water and pulls her under. That wasn't a dream. That wasn't a dream. The movie just tells us it's a dream, but it wasn't a dream. Jason actually did rise from the dead after his mother died. Like some sort of vengeful curse. Yeah, it sounds far-fetched, but when you look at the amount of abuse Jason takes in part 3 and 4, and now he comes back from the dead in 6, is it really that far-fetched? I'm just saying. If there are fan theories, or if there are some movies that say that he was resurrected by the Necronomicon from the Evil Dead franchise, why the hell not? Which for the record, as much as I love the Evil Dead movies, I've never liked. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll talk about that when we get to Jason Goes to Hell. But yeah, back to things that aren't very good in this. This was the first one to introduce Jason as the killer, and I think they do a decent job with it. The only issue I have is Jason gets the shit beaten out of him way too much in this, and it makes him kind of hard to take seriously. There's literally a scene where the final girl, Ginny, played by Amy Steele, kicks Jason in the nuts. And I'm like, seriously, Jason? Like, it's kind of ridiculous he fell for that. But, I mean, maybe that's the idea. I mean, the idea behind Jason has always been that he's not the sharpest tool in the shed. No pun intended. But still, that doesn't change the fact that it's kind of hard to be intimidated by a dumbass. With all the gore effects in this film, are definitely not as good as the first one. But in my honest opinion, I think this film makes up for it with its creativity. The kills are a lot more inventive and creative in this one. Especially Mark's death, where he gets hit in the face with a machete and he's like flies down the steps in the wheelchair. It was such a cool death, and the camera work was so cool. But yeah. A last criticism, a last thing that doesn't work for me. In terms of suspense and tension, the first film is definitely better. I will give it that. Not that this film doesn't have good suspense and tension. It does. It's just that it's not as effective in this like it is in the first film. That might be due to some of the camera work, or the fact that we already know Jason is the killer, so it doesn't make a lot of sense to show his POV. Excuse me. God, I really should not film these after I eat. I apologize. Anyway. Yeah, those are... but yeah, honestly, that's really, like, the only issues I have. Everything else in the movie I really enjoyed. I did enjoy Jason as the killer, and I actually don't mind his look in this. Which, by the way, fun fact, the look of the killer in this film was actually inspired by another horror film that was coming out at the time, The Town That Dreaded Sundown. And I can see why they went with it. It's a pretty creepy as hell look. I definitely prefer the look that Jason would get in the next film, but this look has never bothered me. You can tell that they were still trying to figure out what kind of person Jason should be, what should his look be, and everything like that. The cast of characters in this film are so much more likable, and a lot of that is because the cast in this film have more of a sense of humor. And honestly, they're just a lot more fun. Even the asshole characters in this, like Scott, who's a perv, even he is more likable and charming. I definitely remember these people a lot easier than I do the cast in the first film. Yeah. The score by Harry Manfredini is also still really good. Definitely not as effective in terms of fright here, but that doesn't really bother me. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. As I continue to watch these movies growing up, I've come to realize that I don't really enjoy these films for the scares, despite them being horror films. I enjoy them more for the gore effects and what Jason will do, along with the likable cast of characters. And that's exactly what this movie does. In my opinion, I think this movie better defines what the rest of this franchise will be like for the next decade. Like, the original Friday the 13th kind of felt like a proof of concept, but this movie really felt like it took that concept and really understood what made the first film work and wanted to expand on that. Even if it meant cutting down on the suspense and tension a bit. The final girl of this film, Ginny, is incredibly likable. The entire cast in this is just really likable in general. Which, by the way, another fun fact about this, although I wouldn't say fun, it's more like, Jesus, what the hell were you thinking? There was actually supposed to be, like, a long sex scene in this movie, but from what I hear, it was actually cut. And a lot of that was because one of the actresses, the actress for the sex scene, apparently she was underage. And that is honestly crazy to me. Like, how the hell did that even happen? Nobody on set did background checks? The hell's wrong with them? Like, I mean, I know it's 1981, but come the hell on, guys. Guys, it is still under law that 16 years old is still considered teenage years. Ugh. It's no wonder this industry was full of so many fucking predators. But yeah. Is there anything else to really talk about? Oh, wait. There is one more thing I would like to add. This is something I actually neglected to mention in my review of the first film, but another thing that I like about Jason and Pamela as well is that while they are intimidating and not exactly good people, you can sympathize with them a bit. And I do like that Friday the 13th Part 2 does shine a spotlight on that. I really like that scene with Ginny in the bar saying, you know, I wonder what he's like today. I mean, this woman was like the only person Jason knew. I mean, he just grew up in the woods. Like, what does that do to someone's mind? And that's something about Jason. We all like having fun with how he creatively kills people in these movies, but there is also a touch of sympathy to him. There definitely is a sense that if Jason didn't drown in that lake, and if Pamela found out that he was alive, both Jason and Pamela's lives would have turned out better. There's actually, in fact, for those Friday the 13th fans out there, in case you're interested, there is actually a fan comic out there called Camp Counselor Jason, where Jason, it's kind of like this alternate timeline where Jason didn't die in the lake all those years ago, and he's now a camp counselor at Crystal Lake. And he's now like a proper goody little two-shoes. It's actually a really funny comic, and it's a real feel-good one as well. I highly recommend it. But yeah, that's really all I have to add here. That's the thing. That's the thing with these movies. Like, don't really expect that long reviews, because there's not really much to talk about with these movies. Most of them, anyway, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Anyway, with that said, what are your guys' thoughts on Friday the 13th Part 2? Do you like it more than the first film, or like me, or do you think I'm just nuts? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments down below. And if you like what you see here, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time tomorrow with Part 3.